Welcome to the 40 Fingers podcast. I'm here today with both Prince to my right, 8 Requiems, and to my other right, I believe, is Sirell. Introduce yourself.
Hi.
Hey, Prince, introduce yourself also. It's etiquette.
Buongiorno, brothers.
Right. So how are we feeling today? I just want to ask that real quick.
I'm very excited right now.
Hey, yeah, same. We're gonna talk. We have a lot to talk about. Prince wrote down so much. Yeah.
This is my first podcast ever, so especially in English. Yeah, it's.
Are you a tad bit nervous or are you good? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall we get right into it then?
Let's.
Of course.
I don't want to dilly dally, whatever you say. Let's get straight into it. Firstly, Prince, go ahead and start us off.
Alright, so for those of you that don't know, Sirell is the creator of Prince of the Underworld and Switch Absolute on Webtoon. Prince of the Underworld is as follows in the bio. The Underworld is ruled by the infamous Rorempe family. What if the heir himself wants to destroy it? Or will he eventually embrace the darkness he was born into? Please read from right to left. And Switch Absolute, Hayden, who looks down on others, receives a mysterious power which allows him to possess people for a short while. And it's a short story.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah.
Alright, so okay, go ahead.
I was about to say, first question, might as well, let's get into it. What inspired you to make Prince of the Underworld and Switch Absolute, or rather making webtoons in general?
Well, I've always been interested in mystery or crime stories, but the main point was creating a character like Etsuo with some kind of duality, so to say. I'm always so fascinated by stories about main characters that have a double life with secret personalities or something like that. So I just wanted to create my own story with that setup. And as for Switch Absolute, well, Prince of the Underworld is made in manga style. It's in black and white. But I've been planning to try making a webtoon in, the traditional webtoon style, like scrolling format and in color, stuff like that. And I also needed a story for it. And I was thinking it should have an easy to understand concept like Death Note, where the main character receives mysterious power that he can abuse, so to say. Yeah, and I don't know, I think there are many people who have thought about switching places with others. I just found that concept interesting, so.
Definitely, I think the premise of Switch Absolute, the character, he appears to be quite an how should I put it, asshole.
He is.
He very much is. When I was reading him, he seems like a very detestable person. So having that kind of character where they're morally, I wouldn't say morally ambiguous, they're a bit morally slightly corrupt, and having them given this kind of pretty OP power, I think that's a really interesting concept, and it was very well executed within these episodes that I've seen so far. But yeah.
I just love anti-heroes.
Yeah, same. What's his name? Light, yeah, like you just said, Death Note. Light.
Yeah.
He starts off pretty innocent, pretty boyish, and then as he goes on with the Death Note, the more and more lives he takes, the more corrupt he becomes. His sense of justice was always so strong that it kind of led him down that bad path. I can kind of see that with this main character as well of Switch Absolute. I want to see how far this goes though. So, and before I say anything else, spoiler alert for these episodes that we're going to be talking about. Yeah, because we are going to be going into some content which you might if you're planning on reading, I'd say tread lightly within this podcast. But yeah, next. So what I wanted to ask was, what were there any Was there any like inspiration involving these like specific characters for both Etsuo and as well as the Swiss Absolute character
Hayden.
Hayden? That's it. It's always on the tip of my tongue.
Mm,
What were there any like inspirations for them?
well, there are many mangakas I look up to, like Ishida Sui's work Tokyo Ghoul,
Yep.
Tokyo Ghoul Every. Yeah, his writing is just full of foreshadowing, and I really love what he did with Kanaki's character throughout the story.
Okay.
He goes through so many personality changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I found it really interesting, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really just many works that inspired me. And of course artists like Obata Takeshi, who drew
Definitely.
Death Note manga. Oh, he's really talented.
Oh, he's so good,
He's
right? If you see his color spreads, they all look
I love
painted.
his art.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Quick side note. You say like you like characters or stories that are foreshadowed and everything. Do you find it hard having to plan out every story beat? Like, do you find it difficult to like think far ahead whenever you're writing these series?
Yes, because if I have a good idea, then I want to show it immediately. I'm just too impatient.
Yeah,
But
I get that.
sometimes I do it in reverse. Like, I reread my story and look at something and that might be to turn it into something like it was foreshadowed.
Yeah, definitely.
Ferris,
Yeah.
quick note, right? Sorry, Sarah. A story beats like an action in like every scene,
Right.
All right, yeah. Just want to know.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Alright, but you carry on.
I don't know. My one of my inspirations was also Lelouch's character from Code Geass.
Code Geass.
He's one of my favorite.
Admittedly, I
He's
haven't
such a great
watched,
character.
Admittedly, I haven't watched too much of Code Geass. Yeah,
it is a very good show, bro. You
Yeah,
have
it
to
is.
watch it.
I remember watching the first couple episodes where I know he tricked his teacher. Like I believe he used the I once, and then they do whatever he wanted. I never got far past that. I should get into it, but I mean, if you're saying it's comparable,
You would love
it. The ending of season 1 is really, really good.
I think I spoiled myself for that.
Oh
I
yeah,
knew,
that was a really big.
I knew what would happen. Yeah, I got spoiled, but I didn't know how it would happen. And that was really cool to watch.
Yeah, there were clips.
Either way, so.
There were clips buzzing around everywhere of like that specific character dying in that massive like parade or something.
Yeah.
And I saw many clips of that. I think that's what kind of turned me off of it, because I kind of felt like you should experience that by yourself, like unspoiled. So I think that might have turned me off, but I think I'll still give it a chance.
That was in season 1.
Oh,
was it, or was it season 2?
I am not sure. I just know that I saw some.
Because I'm pretty sure there's multiple seasons, and at the end of season 1, spoiler, basically, he ends up being like his mind ends up being erased or something, or whatever.
Okay.
And then he has a fake brother.
Oh.
In season
2. Yeah.
Who replaces Nanoli. So, yeah. There's
that. I feel like I got spoiled a tad bit, but all right. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so I want to ask, who are your favorite characters in both of these webtoons? Because I mean, I have my own personal favorites, but I mean, I want to ask you, who was the most enjoyable writing, and who did you find yourself most attached to?
Yeah, well, from Prince of the Underworld, it's definitely Etsuo himself. I mean, okay, he's the main character, but I just really love writing him and drawing him.
Yeah.
So
he looks very fun. He's a very fun character that I dabble with.
Yeah, but I also really like, for example, Kai. I mean, he creeps me out.
He does.
He looks like an innocent child and stuff, but there's just something about him that, yeah.
I mean, he has little weird qualities to him, like like that really weird. I don't know. He reminds me of like a Chucky though. That's it. It's like small,
Chucky,
creepy.
alright.
Yeah.
Chill out with that. He's not that creepy.
I find him weird the way he goes. Etsu ni-chan. Okay, I find
It makes sense though. It makes
I
sense.
know, but like the way he creeps around and everything. Although I did feel bad for him in the spoiler.
We'll digress to that, right?
Okay, well, I nearly spoiled, yo. Okay.
The last chapter is like the best chapter, so
Yeah.
of course we are going to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. I don't want to go straight in, but okay. What about from Switch Absolute?
Well, there aren't many episodes of that yet, so I haven't had the chance to flesh out the characters that much. But I kind of like Sheila, the ghost girl, because because I always create human characters, like, and this was maybe the first time that I created a non-human character.
Right.
Okay, she doesn't really look supernatural, not really, but I still like how she turned out.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like I don't know if it's just me personally, but I feel like she starts off very bubbly, and then the more and more she gets to know Hayden, she gets a bit more like, why am I hanging around this guy, right? She gets a bit moody. Yeah, I feel like that's nice character progression, but I'm curious as to see how their relationship goes on in the series.
Well, she just observes what's happening, and
okay,
she doesn't really like the way our main protagonist uses his powers.
I wouldn't either. To be fair, I wouldn't like Hayden if I knew him in real life.
I mean, if Hayden just switches up with his mom, right?
Oh, that was so evil.
But we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. We'll leave a lot of the story stuff for you to read for yourselves. But I mean, a lot of it's pretty funny in my opinion.
Short 5 parts, right? I already hate him for every part of my being. But like again, we'll digress from that, right? So now that we got your favorite characters, right? How do you schedule your life for like webtoon specifically, like from Sunday to Saturday, if can?
So free time for me is kind of non-existent. Like
I feel that
I'm a university student. I'm studying biology, and it's so hard. I have to study so much every day, all day. Even on the weekends, I study through all the weekends from beginning to end. So maybe around midnight or something like that, I have a few hours to work on this kind of stuff. And I couldn't draw because I didn't have the time. So yeah, that's why my uploading schedule is not really consistent. Because I just can't do it. It's impossible for me to keep up with a normal schedule, because I can only draw, and I just cannot foresee when that will be.
All right, so I imagine juggling both webtoons at the same time with your already busy daily schedule that's tricky, right?
It was bold of me to start Switch Absolute, but to be honest, I thought that I could finish it in a month.
Oh yeah,
but I was so
we all
naive.
go in with that.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, okay,
this is a short story, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a short story. I mean, I have it from beginning to end written down, like the outlines at least. And I thought, okay, I just had to draw it. It won't take that long, but it is taking really long because, in Prince of the Underworld, the current arc is at its peak, and everything is happening right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Every important stuff is happening right now, and I've been mainly focusing on that.
Okay.
That's why I haven't updated Switch Absolute in, I think, 2 months for now.
2 months.
Yeah, I think it was in October, the last update. Oh my god. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember the last episode when they were still in the classroom and everything. Ooh. I don't know, they were outside the classroom, and then that certain event happened and it just left you on the cliffhanger.
Switching. No, it happened when literally. Alright, so Hayden was walking down the hall, right? You know, being an ass. And then he
Just
switches
casually
up
being
with
an ass.
with Lynn, the girl that he likes, his I guess boyfriend or
Mhm,
something.
mhm.
And then when he switches up with him, he leans for a kiss with Lynn, right?
And then
And then he gets
bam.
smacked,
Yeah.
assumably. So yeah,
I
that's where it left off.
I find
A
that pretty
cliffhanger.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But
I'm
sorry.
working. I'm working on the new chapter or part 6, so to say, and I already have like 4 panels, which which isn't bad.
Yeah, they ain't bad whatsoever.
Yeah, and-
Better than nothing, you know.
yeah, and
Okay.
hopefully I'll have some more time in January
Mhm.
because my exams are over, so I have some
Hey.
free time finally.
All right, that Christmas
Yeah.
period.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's such a good time during the Christmas period as well because a lot of it is quiet, so a lot of creators can just really knuckle down on their work. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them chapters. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
okay, so next question was that
Okay.
any challenges or concerns that involving webtoons you have, basically anything that really holds you back from continuing these webtoons in the future.
The only thing holding me back is the lack of free time. Really,
Mm,
I have all the motivation. I want to draw all the time and write and fantasize about this stuff. Really, the only thing holding me down is just real life stuff like
hmm.
university. And in the future, it will be working,
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
getting a job and stuff. So, but I, I hope that I will be able to fit drawing into my schedule even in
Hmm.
the future, or I won't survive. So,
That's often yeah, no, it's often I feel like a problem with a lot of webtoon artists. They need something to juggle around in the background while doing their webtoon. I know I've felt that exact same pressure. A lot of people have felt this exact same pressure of trying to find something to just keep them afloat to carry on with the webtoons. Honestly, how would you feel if webtoon just picked you up one day, decided to carry on with this? Would you drop everything, including university, work prospects, just to work for webtoon and carry on, Prince of the Underworld, or would you say otherwise?
I can't just leave university. I gotta get my diploma.
Oh,
So
that's fair
um,
enough.
after that, if for some chance they just blow up, I
Mm-hmm.
mean my webtoons, or I make a new one and that one blows up, I might consider it. But first, I have to achieve something in life.
That's very understandable to be
Yeah,
fair.
and
What
I
about
would be
beyond that though? If you get the
really
diploma,
happy.
what happens?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with my life, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying biology, so there are many options. I guess maybe I could work in labs as a scientist, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really don't know. And it's
Mm.
so frustrating that
That's understandable, yeah, but
I don't.
you keep on that. That's all about keeping on that grind. All too familiar.
Yeah, and even if I'm no good for science,
Mm-hmm.
after all, or something like that, there's going to be drawing. Like
Yeah, drawing will
like
always keep you company.
it's it's good to know that I have a hobby that I
Alright.
can do.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about it like we talked about. I mean, I was sort of dabbling in it earlier about thinking ahead about like different plot lines. Because you said you like to plan out like something like foreshadowing and everything.
Yeah.
That got me thinking a
Mhm.
bit. Do you have a timeline for your webtoons, for both your webtoons, including their endings? How far have you planned out these series?
You know, I have certain parts that I know I'm going to draw in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have set plot lines or something like that, but I just haven't figured out what to put in between them. So how to get from point A to B, so to say. Um, I have a general idea about the endings, especially for Switch Absolute. I know what I want to do with that one because it's a short story, so it's much easier
Mm-hmm.
to write that. But yeah, about Prince of the Underworld, there are certain arcs and scenes that I want to write in the future, but I still don't know how to get there. That's the exciting part. Yeah, and I've been doing this all this time that I know that this thing is going to happen. I just don't know how, and I have to figure it out. I have to think with the heads of my characters,
Okay.
to look around. That okay, what can I use to I know that SO has to escape somehow,
Right.
or
Yeah.
yeah, I need something to happen. So I had to figure out, but how? What can he use? What objects are there that he can use, or characters that can interfere and something like that. So it's a big riddle, so to say. So
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, Sarah. Just real quick, right? To give
yeah,
context to this, in this scene, Etsuo is basically being kidnapped by a rival family that his father is involved with. So he's being tied down, and two people are about to carry him. In this instance, this is what I think she's talking
it's
about when
chapter
she
3, right?
says, Etsuo's looking around. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no! It was when Etsuo was kind of cornered, and the guy wanted
Yeah.
to kill him. So I think I believe he goes on to with the temperature, he puts that up, and then I believe, I'm sure it was the temperature part, right?
he got kidnapped so many times. Which chapter are we talking about?
Jesus! Oh
I
my
mean,
god! I mean, the guy with the hat. He seemed pretty creepy.
yeah,
Chapter
you
8,
mean
I would
chapter
believe.
Okay.
8? Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
wait a minute. Uh,
I can't remember. There's
wait,
20
you know,
chapters, so.
by the rival family.
Mhm.
Uh, hmm. So,
Yeah.
what
Remember
was your
the
question
tie
again?
thing? The tie pin or
Yeah,
whatever?
we were talking about it yesterday, actually.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what was the question about that
Oh no, I
again?
was just asking. Yeah, so you were
11?
talking about like how much you plan it out, as well as like you're saying that it's sort of riddle, I believe you were saying, like planning out these sort of like encounters.
Yeah. Well, it's always a challenge for me to figure out how things will turn out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very exciting for me to uh, see what's going to happen. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I have to think it really through,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I spend days thinking about how he's going to get out and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and to come up with a plan. I yeah,
Okay, all right.
I have
Mm.
to look at older chapters too to find clues for myself.
Yeah, that's
You know,
that's pretty common. I mean, like I've heard manga creators. They have to end up flicking through about all their volumes. I'm guilty of doing this as well, where I find myself in a bit of a writing rut, so to say, where I'm just kind of looking for little tiny clues that I've drawn or written out in the past, just so I can
uh,
find something to bail me out. Is it kind of like the same thing as well with you?
I've done that several times, but not always. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I really have ideas about stuff, so picking
Mhm.
everything up on the spot. But yeah, going through all the pages really helped me in some cases, and
Mhm.
they sometimes give me so such great ideas that I really wanted to build into the story, and I haven't regretted that. So
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea to
Okay.
go and look for little hints.
Yeah, that's definitely yeah, so that's an interesting way of writing, I'd say. I mean, I personally say for me, it it doesn't always work out because I kind of feel like when I do write some of these chapters, when I do write some of these bits while looking back, I kind of feel like I'm forgetting something I've already set up, and sometimes they don't work out, and I feel like, oh, shit, I kind of just I forgot this entire plot point I was about to lead into. How do I save myself? Which is I find that pretty risky. Um, yeah,
Ferris
yeah, yeah.
and Sirell as well. Quick, it wasn't in the list that I put. I just thought about it, right? So do you guys either of you have like some sort of like Bible for your webtoons, so that you can refer to like so you can refer to it as like, oh, I can do this in the
Mm-hmm.
future and I cannot do that because this event happened. Do you have any form of a Bible for those webtoons? For you, Lost Eden, and for you, Prince of the Underworld and Switch Absolute, I guess. Settle first.
Yes, at first.
Uh, well, um, I haven't really thought about this.
No, bye.
I
He
mean,
just
it's
dropped
okay
this
if
on
you
me.
don't have one. Curious, like if you don't have one, it's fine. Because having a show Bible can help with like if you ever like don't want to like add something that's inconsistent to like what you did
Mm-hmm.
before.
Yeah, you're right. You have a point. Hmm. I don't know. I just haven't really thought about this. So let Fairy answer first. So I might have some ideas.
Okay.
Do
um,
you have? Do
do
you have any?
I do, but that wasn't created until after episode 3. I only okay, so like after the first 3 episodes, before I went in with Lost Eden, right? I didn't have much of a plan going in per se. Not everything was entirely concrete, and I had everything sorted out up to episode 3. um I mean, I had everything planned out, like a certain key points and everything. I never had all of the nitty gritty stuff completely done, and by the end of, like, I'd say episode 8 or 9, like after the Haya versus Kai fight, I had every single character sheet done for each of these characters, as well as all the main arcs sorted out. So I've written everything along the way. Yes, I do have a Bible, but it came many chapters and many months after starting the series. That's my answer. It's not the best. I'm not a good planner. Please don't take my example.
Yes, viewers, do not take the example of Lolo Ferris.
Okay, listen,
Okay.
Prince, you're sabotaging me, and you're making us look bad. All right. Okay, let's go to Sirell. How do you sort your Bible out?
Well, it's almost always like after a few chapters, I get a better idea. So I change some things that I already had written, for example, and see that, oh my god, it just works so much better than the old version. So I would say the story is constantly changing, but it's not true. The fundamentals are set in stone, but the little details change all the time when I have a new idea.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
see, that's respectable. I like that.
So now that that's that off-topic question out of the way, sorry for bombarding you with that one.
Yeah, thanks,
both
Prince.
of you. If you have any, all right, let me just quote this here. Sarah, what do you want people to get out of either Switch Absolute or Prince of the Underworld? If you have anything you want to communicate to your reader.
Yeah, well, Prince of the Underworld is kind of my guilty pleasure, so to say. So I started because of my own entertainment. I basically just wrote something that I would want to read, so and I would find it interesting. So if I saw it as another person's work, I'd be like, oh my god, I love this, I want to find out more. So that's why there isn't a message yet, but this is kind of a journey for improvement for me. So I feel like that I myself will surely discover the true meaning and message of this work.
Okay, interesting.
As I go. I mean, yeah, as the plot clears up even more and more for me too. And the characters, I get to know the characters more and more. um, I can see it um, more clearly what is where it's heading. And about Switch Absolute, I actually do have a message with it, but we are just too early in the story for that. But just look at the main character; he's an asshole. So there's so much
That's
room for
understandable.
growth.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. And it's good that you set up Hayden like this. There's a lot of growth to be had with his character. Yeah,
so much potential for his very interesting
Prince,
character.
are you sweating? Are you sweating, Prince?
But you know what? Because I have a lot that I've been holding back here, right? Let's go to the question segment. All the following questions until the final question are more webtoon related, and these are a few minor questions, but ones that I'd like to have answered nonetheless. So first, I'll be giving you questions about Prince of the Underworld. Will Masa, Etsuo's best friend, ever return? Because he's like the only character I for some reason like I reread it, right? And I forgot he exists, but I like him more than literally everyone else, I think.
Really? Okay.
And actually, I like Kai more.
Oh.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's been so long since I last drew him. I think he appeared last, like in chapter, I don't know, 7, 6, or something like that. Yeah. Well, with this whole arc that's currently going on, the school has been in the background for a while, but the next arc is going to feature the school much more. So the characters there as well. So yeah, he's definitely going back soon, because this arc is almost over. So
this is
yeah.
exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much. Now, next question.
Oh my god.
When first of all, Etsuo's personal server was named Noeru, right?
Yeah.
All right. So when Noeru
Noeru.
when Noeru's character profile, I guess, is shown by that one girl and their little trio, they say that everywhere he goes, like when he serves someone, right, he emits like gangster energy, and they have a fight mysteriously, and I don't get why. If you could explain, because he's such a nice guy. Like no matter how every time I see him, he's such a nice guy. When he smiled when he turned away in that little exam, like I thought it was gonna be coy and like he was a smart ass, but like he's nice. There's no reason for him to have this energy.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, the first chapter, I mean the first half of the first chapter, was drawn in like 2014, so years ago, and at that time it was a whole different story with different characters and everything. Yeah, I'm not getting into that, I guess, because yeah, it really was just different. Okay, so we had Etsuo like we have now, but his father was actually that evil mafia boss who experimented on people and things like that, and he produced these fake humans, and these weren't really people. They were like I don't know, like they consisted of this negative energy thing, but they looked like people, and wherever they went, they just caused chaos and crimes and everything.
So
like that. I
he's
don't know.
somewhat artificial.
And yeah, something artificial. And the whole story was going to be about Etsuo, Ken, and Anna not fighting, but finding these kind of creatures and like defeating them in some way. And Noru was in fact was meant to be the first fake human they encountered.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
so still going with that idea, or did you scrap
Oh
it?
no.
And you made...
I scrapped it completely, and I left the whole thing to sit in my drawer for years. But then I just really liked that opening scene of the whole uh, webtoon. You know, the very first scene when he's just running away from bullies, and then
and then he decides to switch it up and everything. Oh, I love
yeah,
that. I love that.
so I I I kept going back to this story, but yeah, I thought that this idea won't be good.
Mm,
I don't know. I just decided to remake the whole thing, the whole story, and started anew. But I didn't want to ditch these pages I drew, so I kind of just changed the
Winged it.
dialogue. Yeah, I changed the dialogue, and there were some parts that uh, this is a perfect example for that negative gangster aura is just a part of this old plot line that is non-existent anymore. But yeah, and okay, I just left it in because we know that Anna has a great intuition, so okay, then she just felt that there was something about him that can be connected to the mafia or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, so
That's
this isn't a
interesting.
question, but a comment.
Oh, before we say anything else, just shout out to Fudo Akio. We didn't get a new member, but she's a guest. Go check out all of her work, link in the description below. Thank you.
Oh yeah, do that. She made some really nice unordinary fan art, and I adore it. Like it, please.
It's on Twitter. I retweeted it. Make sure you go check out all of her work. And this is to everybody else in the chat. If I catch you lacking, I know I will know where you are. You better.
Bro, I'm gonna pull up at your house, bro.
You better. You. Okay, let me stop. I don't want to destroy Sarah's ears, but yeah, all the links to her comics and the social are in the description. So please, I implore you to check it out. Everything that we're saying right now will be put into context when you read it. It's all very well done. Check it out. But after this, because there's more stuff to come. Now carry on, Prince.
As I was saying, what were you gonna say, Sarah?
I should start using my socials and stuff, but I really just don't know how. I don't know what to post and stuff like that, and yeah.
It's always easy to interact with people. Like, Sean seems different today. Oh, he's so funny. Oh my god. The main guy already looking.
Oh yeah.
Hella my type. Or best boy. Oh, okay. Seems like Fudo Aki has already read Etsuo. He's definitely my type too.
So yeah, just my yeah, encourage her to tweet more.
Yeah, and
anyway,
also if you
comment,
wait, one more thing, if any of you guys have any questions for Sirell, we will read out at the end of the podcast, and she can answer them directly to you.
All right.
I try my best to answer.
Hey.
No more side.
Okay. I'm just saying.
All right. Just a comment. I like how the latest chapter clears parts of Etsuo's character, right, and how he influenced Kai, the little kid that he used to be a bad influence around. By the way, son of the Notif, because at the end of chapter 12, Kai is about to cut a teddy bear.
Spoilers. That's spoilers. I'm just be brief about it. Be brief.
I have to explain why it's good, though.
Okay, just tread around it. Tread around it, please.
All right. Let's just say the latest chapter alludes to the reason why he's the way he is a bit, and it's not all, I would think, the way he grew up fault. But yeah, he had some bad influences. You'll understand why.
Yeah. Like, who would have thought, right? I mean, I just loved doing that, making that part of the story, because yeah, even I find it interesting. I just love drawing that flashback and all.
Now,
looking forward to it,
yeah.
Same.
Um, this is gonna. All right. Disclaimer: I'm about to sound like an ass right now. Because this is like the most nitty gritty thing I found out, and I couldn't have understood it, and I doubt you guys will see it under like the first read, right? Because like when I was rereading Prince of the Underworld, right, in chapter 13, when
Oh, okay.
spoiler, right? Just spoiler a little bit.
Spoiler. Thank you.
When Etsuo ambushes Kai, right? For some, on the bottom like left of like a panel, he there's like some text there, right?
No.
And you said, "Am I?" It was, "Am I a joke to you?" When I asked,
Yeah, but
why did you add that again?
I just couldn't resist, but it didn't fit into the scene, I mean, it's a serious scene. And yeah, okay.
I found it so funny. It caught me off guard a bit.
Oh my
It
God. I
sounds
just hope that people wouldn't see and stuff like that.
yeah, because they already had their main dialogue already said, and I could have read it without even needing to read. Am I a joke to you? Just like pulling up there, we're like, wait, what is this?
Oh no, I
That's why
definitely
it's
love that part.
so small, Maybe some people notice it, maybe not. But
Oh,
it's fine either way.
I definitely like those
Yeah.
little tidbits, just like to make the reader throw the reader off a bit, like make them laugh a bit. I love that kind of writing. It's definitely something that I want
Yeah.
to see more.
So now that I've had all my thoughts, I think, at least for now, be prepared to answer when I DM you about it. Just saying. But like we'll
my
be
God.
switching to Switch Absolute, right? And I only have like 2 questions on it, right? Will you focus more on Switch Absolute so I can see sweet, juicy karma be brought upon Hayden, the main character?
Well, after so I finished chapter 20 for Prince of the Underworld, which was my goal in the last month. So now I can finally focus a bit more on Switch Absolute as well, and I'm really happy about that. So I can continue that at last. Yeah, and not in December, but in January. There's definitely going to be in early January. There's going to be a new episode.
Yes.
Very
But
good,
I
very good.
I already have 4 panels done. So yeah, but I still have a lot of work to do.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, so yes, I'm going to continue Switch Absolute as well. I can finally do that.
All right.
Thank you very much. Now, last question for this at least. Is there a reason why Hayden likes Lynn? Because no matter how I look at it, right, I just don't see how a condescending ass like him just randomly likes this one person without looking at their flaws or whatever. Love can blind people. I realize that. But what makes her special? If you want to reveal it, you can, it might be revealed later on, but...
As for now, I'm only saying that he likes her genuine smile. Like, it's like a sunshine to him.
That's pure.
Yeah, he called her the light of this school, light of my life or something.
Yeah, he hates everything and everyone, and there's just this innocent girl who, with a genuine smile, so yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Let's leave it at that for now.
All right, so before we go into this last question, anybody who wants to ask a question to Sirell, message it in the live chat right now. I message it so that we can read it after this last question, or forever hold your peace. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, as we move into the last question, I already talked to you about like if you're
I already have another one. All
right. So I'll give a question and then Prince gives a question. So what I wanted to ask was, is there a third series that you're planning? Is there a third series that's ever been in your mind? Oh.
Not yet. I mean,
okay.
I can barely work on these 2, so yeah, I just can't afford to think of a third one.
Oh,
But you
I was
know,
really
in the
about to
past,
pull up. I was really about to subscribe so quick.
no, in the past, I started to make many different webtoons
mm-hmm.
that I never got to finish. I drew like 4 to 5 pages to them,
Yeah.
but yeah, I scrapped them. But there was this specific one that was made in scrolling format and in colors,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't really bad. I don't know why I ditched it because
Mm-hmm.
I had already 2 chapters done, and
Oh
it
no.
was about 6 young adults getting into hell. Uh, yeah, and
uh,
they were, you know, they were chosen to attend the demon academy, so to say, so they can become demons themselves. And the story was kind of about them remembering their past lives and what did they do to end up there, and about their whole school life where they learn all the things about, I don't know, becoming a demon.
uh,
It was kind of interesting, and yeah,
the,
the
yeah.
artwork is almost like in Switch Absolute, so
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar to that. Um, maybe no, and I'm not saying that I'm going to publish it ever, but mm,
I mean, you trying to like share a sneak peek or something?
No,
Like,
no,
give me
no,
a
no, no sneak
like,
peeks. No
give me a
harassing
could
people
nibble.
for sneak
because
peeks.
Give me a nibble. Just
yeah,
a
Shh,
nibble.
shh,
is
Prince,
all I
Prince,
ask.
sit down, okay? You're not harassing her, all right? Get lost.
Bro, man.
You know, the
it's
only
not like
yeah.
I'm going to publish it in the next few years, so I could actually show some
Yo,
art
give me something.
if
Nah,
I find it.
bro.
You know what the weirdest thing was? I was surprised because I actually have a scrapped manga based around hell
Oh,
as well, which is what threw me off. I was like, whoa, this is similar because I had a manga very similar to that kind of theme. I didn't think it through like further enough, which is why I probably dropped it. But it was just basically about like a banker or sort of like salaryman who lost his job, lost
Oh
his
yeah.
wife, lost his wife. He lost everything. His bank account was like cleared out and everything hacked. He had nothing left, and he decided on the bus back home. He decided to just think things out. He got on the bus, but little did he realize he got on the 666 bus and he went down into hell. And I didn't think about anything. I didn't think about anything after that, but it was such a
it's
silly
interesting
concept.
though.
It's interesting, but it was nothing after that. But when you brought that up, I was thinking, whoa, holy shit, that's actually interesting. A premise where people are trying to remember why they died and also got be turned into a demon. That's interesting.
Paris, was that the one with the really weird placeholder as a name?
Ah, yes, swallow a shoe. That's the exact placeholder I gave it, and I I could never think of another name for it. It's so dumb. Okay, but yeah, Prince, go
I
ahead.
actually sent the first page of that
Oh, no way.
work I was talking
Yeah,
about.
I saw it, but it's like it's so tiny, so I can't read it. It makes me sad.
I can open
I have
the
to go on my phone real quick, actually.
I can open the original. Oh shit! I can't show it on stream.
It's fine. It's totally for us.
It's fine.
It's
Okay.
on them.
That's what they get for not being here. But I digress. Perhaps a milestone. You could release it to everybody else because what I'm looking at right now is it's very pretty. Ooh.
Wait, no, this is like better than like you drew this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this
Of
is
course.
better than like the. Well, you can clearly see the progress like you've
Oh.
made since like the first
well,
two.
Definitely.
Mm,
Oh, she's pretty.
uh,
Why is that your first?
I'm just saying she's pretty. Okay.
Welcome to.
Okay, so
I have
perhaps.
so many pages drawn.
Hmm.
I wonder why I scrapped this all. Okay.
Perhaps you could like do a milestone, like when let's say Prince of the Underworld reaches, I don't know, 10K views.
No way.
Subscribers. No, not.
It already took 2 years to reach 2000, so yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Which I'm pretty satisfied satisfied with. I mean, it's awesome. I love all my readers. I'm really grateful to them and everything.
2K people are supporting you behind your back. One, including me. Hello.
And me, what? I was the first.
I mean, yeah, you too, but me, that I'm more.
No, you're not.
Me.
Go away, go away. Anyways, bring your last question.
All right. So, for our final question of our little interview, do you have a pro art or and writing tip for anyone trying to start a webtoon?
I think the most important thing is to write what you want to read. It really keeps you motivated and excited about the whole process. And eventually, people with the same interest will come and like your story. Like in my case, so I really just did this. I wrote what I wanted to read, and people just came. Like, surely, yeah. Sometimes I lose more subscribers than yeah. Sometimes with every update I get some new subscribers, but sometimes I lose more. So it's kind of stagnating. Yeah.
Yes.
That actually doesn't make sense. How does the new upload make people?
I mean, I guess people are thinking,
I don't know, maybe they just remember, oh, I remember this and I didn't like it.
that's what I was gonna say, yeah.
Or I got bored of this, so okay, let's scrap it. And I don't know.
Yeah, but like for every
okay.
new one, it's
but
not
you know,
even
they're
fun.
losing out. They're losing out.
Yeah, they're losing out. That juicy plot.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
the first few chapters are really confusing, so I can understand if people like drop it after that, because it's before the whole plot starts going, you know.
Okay.
Ferris, this is why I asked you to make more questions, bro.
No, that was that.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Well, there's a good advice I saw in a video from Mark Lee, actually, which really stuck with me. Like, yeah, don't just let things happen. Make it happen in an interesting way. I mean, I always think about it when I think of like what's going to happen now, because I know that this thing is going to happen, and but I know that it would be just so boring just to let it happen or things like that. So I just really start thinking of ways that you know, complications, and and I start thinking of what if scenarios. So what if this character did that and that, or what if this happened, or what if that happens in the future. And sometimes I get my best ideas from these
what if Hayden
crazy
died?
Hayden.
Yeah, something like that. So really,
I'm just
I
saying
just
that wouldn't be a
think
bad
what
idea, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, what is the craziest thing that could happen, or yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes they do end up in the story. So yeah, this really helps me, this way of thinking, whenever I'm stuck.
Okay.
I just start brainstorming ideas and select the ones that could work.
Okay. So can you just repeat one more time? What was the quote that you gave us from Mark Riley?
So don't just let things happen, make it happen in an interesting way.
I like that.
I really like that too. I think I'm gonna make like a checklist of things before like every chapter I want to make and put that.
Interesting.
This advice, you know, there were scenes that I don't know. It's kind of spoilery. For example, that.
Go ahead.
You know. Okay. So yeah, I knew that Etsu was going to set someone on fire in the end of that scene, you know.
Oh my.
Yeah, but it was like too easy, so I thought that okay, but I can kind of extend this scene a little more. Yeah, and a whole new chapter was born this way, like chapter, I don't know, chapter 17, something like that. Um, but then I thought that, yeah, okay, so I just wanted to spice things up a little. And yeah, so it has happened to me in the past that this advice extended my original planned scenes, and I really don't regret them at all.
Okay, okay.
New scenes to it.
Alright.
Do
Yeah.
you have any pro art tip, if any,
Art
by any
tips.
chance?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, I don't know. Maybe, when there's a long conversation, uh, I think it's good to change the camera angles.
Mhm.
Uh, to make the visuals more interesting, even if there's a wall of text everywhere,
Yeah.
because dialogues can really just feel really long
Mhm.
sometimes. So that's when you have to use your art to make it a little bit more interesting. But I still have to work on that because
Mhm.
uh, I'm trying to work on changing camera angles as much as I can. But yeah, I just love drawing faces. So there are many face shots, but this can get really boring,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
So
understandable.
yeah, I've been working on drawing more backgrounds as well. There was a chapter, I don't know, not 30, 14. Yeah, 14.
Mhm.
That's in set in the storeroom. No, that was a background that I worked on for hours, I think. Yeah,
Okay. Ooh, 4 hours
I
though.
I don't
Damn.
know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm uh, most of the time I'm really just lazy with the backgrounds, and it's not good.
I mean, it's
But
understandable, right? Like when you're writing, when you have
yeah,
a bit of a deadline, you need to sometimes just have a bit of filler backgrounds, like some color gradients, or just like
yeah,
simple.
I always use gradients
Mm, yeah,
for
that
backgrounds.
it definitely helps. But I guess like saving the backgrounds for like really nice scenes is always a good payoff.
Yeah, but backgrounds are hard to draw. So
Yep, definitely. All
yeah.
right. So questions from the actual audience live chat. We'll go to Fudo Akio, and he says, any inspirations for Ray or any of the other characters?
Well, um, I cannot name a specific inspiration, but the whole character trait of leading a double life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it has appeared in so many mangas, for example,
Right.
uh, like hmm, no, uh, well, for example, that Etsuo has his inner side with him
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. That inspiration may have come from Tokyo Ghoul, but I'm not sure because, it. I make this subconsciously, so
Yeah, it's
I do
understandable.
not straight up copy these, but later realize that, oh my god, it really looks like that's
Yeah, yeah.
one
It's sometimes like
thing I read in the past. So
yeah. You accidentally make like parallels with other series that you really like, and
I think it's because I really like those
yeah,
specific,
definitely, definitely.
and that's why they just came to my
Mm-hmm.
mind when I was writing. Uh, Sometimes I realized it. uh, I drew a scene and I realized that, oh my god, it really just looks like that other scene from that other manga, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I really did not make that on purpose. So
Okay, that's understandable.
yeah.
All right, last question. Losty, and it's just one big. All right, we'll skip that one.
Do it.
Okay, I guess. All right. So, I believe that is the end of the interview. Wow, that's the end of the podcast. That ended up being really nice. Thank you, Cyril, so much for coming on this podcast. We've been trying to plan this out for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you, thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was real fun, and I was so nervous. I'm so sorry about that. I
Oh no, you
don't
did
even know if
fantastic.
you. I don't even know if you understood what I was saying and stuff
Oh no,
with
we
all the
definitely
accent
convey.
and.
Your English is very good.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it was all. I was initially hesitant. Before I even talked to you, I'm thinking, you say your accent is a bit heavy. I wonder how that will sound like. But when I heard you yesterday, I was thinking, oh, this is perfect. We're gonna do perfectly fine,
Oh, okay.
and you did. So, I'm proud. I'm proud of us.
Again, please follow her
Oh, and
social media and website.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I just want to say that I absolutely love the art you made for this podcast of
Ah, thank you,
me.
thank you. It
It's
was
perfect.
it was
It's
fun.
perfect.
It was fun to make. I realized that I was doing a bit of like crazy eyes towards like
Oh no, it's
yeah.
perfect, really.
Well, all right. Thank you very much. Oh, shout out to Jay Espin. He's also got a really cool webtoon that's up and coming. Aerosol. It's
Oh, Jay!
Jay's
Yo!
here.
What's
Jay's
up?
here. Yeah, no, he's up and coming. I love his art. Um,
Thank you.
Anyways, thank you very much, Cyril. Thank you, everybody watching.
Thank you guys. It was really fun. Thank you.
We love you all, and see you next time. Say bye, guys
Arrivederci, brothers.
and
Bye.
sisters. Come on, bye.